And pardon me if I.
All right. We are live on Tuesday instead of Monday. I apologize. My Sunday night into Monday work was atrocious. I didn't get home from work until 11:30 Monday morning. And crash C-sections and dead babies, and
I hate that when that
it
happens.
was just not transferring somebody who was 28 weeks we couldn't, was 3 centimeters and was contracting and on magnesium, and then we had the girl who came in whose baby didn't survive, and
so sad.
it was the second week in a row. We had a dead baby.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Monday morning, or what would have was my Monday morning. Last week it was Tuesday morning because I worked 4th of July night into Tuesday morning. So it was just, and they were trying to get the crew down to the minimal amount so that when all this stuff started happening, the day shift had one nurse and the supervisor was going to be there, to cover, and one of the night shift nurses was staying over, and all this crap was hitting the fan. So anyway, when I finally got home yesterday, it was just kind of like, then I had to take the cat to the vet at 3:30 in the afternoon. So she now has an ulcer on this eyeball. Her left eye. So she's much better as far as she's eating. The abscess on her chest is all healed up. She was acting fine, but I looked down at her last week and she had the kind of a buggy looking eye over here, and so I watched it for a few days and it was like, it's not getting any better. And then I took her yesterday, and when he finally got it cleaned out, turns out there's a little ulceration right in the very center. That it's like, I have no idea where it came from.
Oh.
So by the time I got home from that, it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I had not been to bed yet.
Oh, God.
By this time, I had been up for 23 hours.
Yeah.
So when I laid down, I thought, well, I'll lay down for 2 hours and get up. And then when I got up at the 6 o'clock, it was like, oh, no, the head is not going to let me do anything. Baby, quit barking at the cat. Sorry, my blind puppy dog is smelling the cat, and so she's standing below the chair, sniffing and then barking up in the air.
Well, it must be a week for eyes because Mickey had that thing too. My mother didn't even pay any attention to it, and Brent came home after working 3 or 4 days, working doubles, and then he picked up Mickey to give him some loving, and the next thing you know, he looks down and his eyeball is like all swollen, and so he's got some kind of sty thing on his eye. And I said, isn't that funny, because I have the first sty I have ever had on my eye this week too. So it's an eye week. It's an eye week.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I've got antibiotic ointment that's supposed to go in her eye 3 times a day.
Yeah. And how do you do it 3 times a day? Yeah, I know.
Well, I mean, I can do it. I just can't do it on the weekends when I work because I leave for work at 5:45.
Yeah.
So my mom's like, I'm not sure I can get ointment in her eye. I'm like, well, those particular days, if we get them in twice, because I'll get them in the whole week until Friday. Yeah. And then when I go to work Friday night, she might not get it. She might not get the 3rd treatment.
I know, that's why I think it's like with Izzy, it's like give this every 12 hours and then give this twice a day, but at different times and with food. And then I'm doing sub-Q IV.
Yeah, guys, I gotta get water for the dang dogs.
So it's like it's crazy. Watch my bank. It's worth every penny, believe me, but it's just like I each time to bed to $250.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love pets.
Doing better.
Cheeky little thing. My God, little diva. All right, let's get into the discussion for this past week. The series finale.
Yep.
Get off my deck! Sorry.
Get off my grass, you kids.
Go get it. Go get it. Freaking squirrels. They're pooping on my deck railing. They're so unafraid of me and my animals that they sit out there. I looked out one day and one of them was out there sunbathing on the deck pole, on the deck rail. Stretched out with its arms wrapped around the deck rail, its tail stretched out the other end, just had its head laying like this with its arms hanging down. It was like, and I was like, you little bastard. Anyway, I'm having issues with squirrels. Okay, Outlander, season 2 finale, Dragonfly and Amber, 90 minutes. I meant to take a stopwatch and time how much we actually got in 1746, but I didn't. I'm sure it's maybe a third of it.
Yeah, maybe a third. I would say there was definitely not 50-50, and it wasn't even 60-40. So, yeah.
No, I mean I can understand kind of why they made the choice to cut back and forth because it kept Jamie in the episode for almost the entire 90 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, because otherwise if they had done a little bit of the framing device at the beginning and then done the whole 1746 thing and then gone back to 1968, it would have been like the book.
Right.
Where reading through those last 3 chapters, I was just kind of like, oh my God. Tell me, what happens at the end? Tell me that Jamie's alive so I can just skip over the rest of this crap. I feel like that's what the show would have been like. I feel like that's how I would have felt in the show if I had had all of 1746 all right up front and then all of that Brianna and Roger and Claire stuff at the end.
Yeah.
You know?
It might have packed more of a punch, too, because it kind of... The thing, though, is the way, he's leaving and they have their goodbye, but then it's like 2 minutes later she finds out he's alive. I know it's supposed to be,
Yeah.
obviously 20 years that it takes for her to find out, but in the visual, it was only a couple minutes. So in a way, I saw some people arguing that maybe they should have, separated it out more so that there was more of a punch of, we haven't seen Jamie for a while.
Yeah.
God, he is alive.
Yeah, you have to figure anybody that watches it is going to go when it's that close together. They're going to go, she's at the Stones again.
Yeah, what was that?
She's going to
I see what you're saying, though.
It's definitely, you just can't have the same as the book. I mean, the same feelings we had of, oh my God, and,
because you're imagining it too, and your imagination, no matter how good a program is, your imagination is your version of that story,
right.
And that's what you feel the story should be. So it's tough. I really think it's tough for them to have to try to satisfy us book readers, But it still left me kind of dissatisfied.
Well, let's start at the beginning. What did you guys think of the not so title card? Opening up with the Avengers and the introduction of Mrs. Peel.
At first I thought it was kind of funny, with Mrs. Peel and the whole thing, and what was the title of that episode? There was a title to that episode that kind of, yeah, I could see where they would, match up.
I saw a story that talked about it, and it was her introduction of series 4, her introduction, and their case was going to a town and finding out why people kept disappearing.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
they also said, Alistair was talking about the fact that it was the introduction of
Mrs. Peel.
And it was the first time the sexy Mrs. Peel in this little cat suit and.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Diana Rigg too, man. I loved her in that. I used to watch that program all the time, The Avengers.
Yeah, and the fascination. I kept thinking it was that she was probably a lot of boys' first, experience with a.
Yeah, her and Honey West were out at the same time. That was Anne Francis. Man, they were hot stuff.
I remember Honey West. We all wanted to be Honey West back then.
I had a Honey West doll. She used to have sexy Ilya Kuryakin doll.
I wanted the cat. I wanted the ocelot.
Yeah.
My mother thought I was crazy.
Well, so I kept wondering if maybe it was supposed to be representational of seeing that and that, everybody's fascination with Mrs. Peel, and we were going to be introduced to Brianna, who suddenly Roger was going to be absolutely captivated by.
Yeah,
so maybe that was kind of, because that particular episode did not air in 1968.
Yeah.
It aired in 1965 or 64, whatever it was.
Could that explain why the kids are watching it in the daytime, so it would actually be a repeat?
Well, Alistair said that British television doesn't work that way. It didn't work that way back then. They didn't have daytime repeats.
Oh, okay. Because I couldn't figure out why in an afternoon, late afternoon, these kids would be watching a regular show and not like cartoons or I don't know what they showed.
But the BBC, I think, runs their programs different than America. We're used to American TV, you know. And
Well, that's Alistair grew up in Scotland,
yeah.
Mhm.
so he was just kind of like British television doesn't work, does not and has not ever worked the same as U.S. TV. It's not like you have daytime reruns.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, and they wouldn't have had that many channels anyway, so they only had BBC. I don't know how many. I know they got several now, but back then
they had BBC 1 and 2, I think, back.
yeah, there was just the two, and that was it. That's all you had.
So anyway, I kept thinking maybe that's why they chose that particular one, because she was this, new, quixotic, enigmatic
Yeah.
female character brought into this world, and maybe it was supposed to be, kind of a little bit of a parallel with suddenly Brianna's here and he's suddenly, gone over Brianna.
It could have been. I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
At first, a little hokey, but it was kind of cool. So.
And I couldn't decide if when they cut to him and he was just kind of standing there like,
Yeah, just
had
kind
that look on his face like a lost little boy.
Yeah. Kind of like
maybe that's what it should have been. He was this lost little boy. He's lost his father. The last, the only parent he's ever known.
Yeah.
So in your last, I think it's a huge thing when you lose your last living relative and realize that you are
the senior
alone in the world as far as people who are related to you by blood, who love you, and who are family.
That's true. He has no siblings, so yeah, he is by himself now.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got Fiona.
Boy, they made her a homely potato, didn't they?
Yes, they did. I was expecting somebody with her hair like in a ponytail and all perky. And
I did too. I expected a perky little young woman, but perky and kind of chubby but cute.
You know who she reminded me of? She reminded me of Ginny Weasley.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
In that kind of
I was thinking
homely.
I was thinking of Gladys Kravitz.
Yeah, that's what she looked, kind of dour and frumpy, and I didn't expect, even though the character of Fiona is supposed to be, she wants to nest and everything, but not like that. That woman just looked.
Yeah, no. From the book, I had a much bubblier personality.
Right. This one was dour. I mean, it's like, ugh.
Of course, and it may be the fact that, what she was having to do at the wake. She was constantly having to bring Roger back.
Oh, no, she was just a homely potato, man. That's it. She was just, no. Was not, I was like, that's an old maid right there. She doesn't look like she's 18 or 19 years old. She looks like an old maid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe I'm just not up on styles on 1968 fashion from Scotland, but yeah, the sweater, the dowdy sweater, and
that's Catholic school garb.
But I would think that, Scotland, they would still be doing the same thing they're doing in London. They would have been cool.
Yeah,
I think.
Some areas, but she looked like Catholic school girl.
Right. She looked like she was wearing mom's clothes.
Pan collar blouses and the little sweaters, the twin sets or whatever, and the skirts, the plaid skirts, knee socks, loafers,
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, hey, Stephanie! A friend of mine is just in the Facebook feed.
Oh.
Okay.
Like I said, the personality was so different from what I was expecting. But maybe her personality will be different next season if we get that, because I don't know if we're gonna.
Is there a lot of them in the next season?
Yeah.
Fiona's in the beginning of Voyager.
Okay.
Because there's a lot. There was a lot of Roger and Claire and Brianna.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Fiona fills in that legend, that one legend.
Right.
So.
Well, except that she was in the end of this book because that's how Claire found out about Jillian, was through Fiona.
Right, that's from this book, yeah.
And can I say I am so grateful for the way that they changed that Jillian Edgar story and condensed it and just made it this really tight little brief.
Yeah, like a little blip on the radar just to give you an inclination that, okay, she's going to go, Claire, she can go back through the stone, and that she's going to be in that time period. She's going to
Well,
show.
and I actually liked her meeting Brianna, because that actually will become important
next year.
next season.
Yeah.
Or at least it did in the book.
And
Who knows in the TV show? Things can get really, really weird.
Unlike the whole Leary nonsense, it won't hurt that she met Brianna. It's not going to be something.
Yeah.
You're going to go, what in the heck happened there?
Right.
Yeah.
So I say I love Claire's look. I loved the Jackie Kennedy smooth. Anne Bancroft is actually what they started saying. That's who she was channeling, was Anne Bancroft, The Graduate.
Yeah, the hair. Yeah, and if they had gone a little heavier with the streaks in there too, yeah, definitely would have been Anne Bancroft. I mean, that style was big then, that Jackie Kennedy bouffant page boy.
Yeah.
So that's why you got the Jackie Kennedy. But the more you think about it, with the drinking and stuff, it's like Desperate Housewives, So that's definitely Anne Bancroft. One of my favorite movies of all time too. She was fabulous in that. So.
Yeah, I loved it. The first picture I saw in the trailer previews, I was like, oh, I like that.
Yeah.
So, and I like that they didn't try and make her look super old as far as putting crow's feet and wrinkles.
Oh, they don't want to have to maintain that.
Oh, I know.
They're going to have to maintain that gray in her hair. That's bad enough.
And it didn't seem to be totally consistent throughout the show either.
Yeah. I almost wish they had just made her as somebody who dyes her hair so we can kind of ignore there's any gray for another year or two.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Katrina just had, she talked about having watched different performances from some of her favorite actresses, like, what'd she say, Meryl Streep and Helen Mirren, watching them do things when they were younger, and then watching them in roles when they were more the age that Claire was going to be, and just to see physically the difference in how they carried themselves and how they spoke, and all, because there's a difference when you get 20 extra years on you. It changes, it changes you physically, yes, but it also changes you so much mentally and emotionally that even the mental and emotional changes you can manifest themselves into something that you can actually see, because she was much more subdued. Her voice actually felt lower. And she'd actually made a conscious effort to kind of lower the pitch of her voice and soften it.
Yeah.
So her character is now, her character too. I mean, her character's life journey that we'll find out next year. I mean, that makes her a whole different person. She's not going to be the same person. So, yeah, I think she did a good job, and that was a good research of hers. Then, if that's what she did.
She really only has to age herself about 10 years from her real age.
Her real age, yeah.
Yeah.
True.
And for Sam, by then, it's only going to be, what, 6-7 years?
Yeah.
From what his actual age is?
We're not going to see that much of change in him.
No, I don't think so. It's going to have to be more with their actual performance.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't look... All they have to do is stop trying to make him look younger.
Just don't use any Botox or whatever. Let your natural wrinkles come through.
I don't know if you guys saw this. I saw some speculation that they might not have him be so bulky next year, that they might let him go back to his runner's
frame.
He just posted a video today of doing like kickboxing and working out. So
I guess not. he must like being bulky.
I think.
Well, it's so hard. It's hard to maintain, though.
Yeah.
If you have to work out so much and eat so much to maintain the bulk.
Yeah.
So he could still be cut, because I saw pictures of him extremely cut, but much leaner.
Yeah, he's always been in good shape. He's a athlete.
He wasn't really bulky in the books, though.
No, Jamie was much more of a tall, lanky.
Yeah. So it wouldn't be bad if they, he's not going to be he's not going to be as,
Well, he'll still.
Well, what he's going to go through, he could be leaner.
Yep.
Oh, true. Yeah, there's going to be.
He could be much, much leaner, and it wouldn't be a problem.
Right.
in the cave for so long, and he's
And
so
prison
yeah,
and all that, yeah. So
yeah. So I would think, and he's eating sparsely, when they can sneak the food to him and what he can glean on his own. So yeah,
I
I would.
think someone pointed that out that he looked thinner at the end here, and I guess he commented that was the point. Is that on Twitter? Is that on
It was
Twitter
on
Saturday
Twitter.
night?
Yeah, I saw that on Twitter.
Yeah, because I
Yeah,
was watching.
I slept 13 hours yesterday, so I missed a bunch of stuff on Twitter.
No, this was during the show.
Well, see, I worked. I had a
Yeah.
freaking mess at work, so I didn't even get close to the live tweet. And Friday night, we had 2 labors Friday night, so I didn't get anywhere close to being able to watch Friday night.
Neither one of them could watch the show. They couldn't get their streaming to work.
Yeah,
So
that's pretty bad when you're
it was
starving.
ridiculous.
Diana was chimed in, and she wasn't watching it either.
No.
Yeah, that's really. But you know what's really sad is that through Amazon, it always works.
Yeah, I didn't have any problems. Somebody else tweeted. So one of our group, I'm not our group, but the David Cook group, tweeted to Stars that they said, how come you didn't load check the load of your app for tonight? Because she apparently couldn't get it. Whatever she was trying to stream from, she couldn't get it to work. So it must not have been through Amazon.
Oh, that was Beth, I think. Lady Madonna.
Yeah, Lady Madonna. That's
I had trouble the next morning myself, so. But then it was fine.
Maybe they kind of got their server broke. Well, there was the week before, or 2 weeks before, I had trouble. So
yeah, maybe they just had a lot of people all of a sudden wanted to see it right at midnight. And,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know that True Detective broke HBO Go. The first series of True Detective broke HBO Go.
Well, I can imagine.
Its season finale, you couldn't get HBO Go to work.
Yeah, so that's probably the same thing.
So.
That's interesting.
So
anyway, where were we?
All right, so we were talking about how Claire looked. We got off on Jamie. Well, yeah. We do.
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid talking about Brianna because that still pisses me off.
Oh, I just don't like her. I'm sorry, I just don't like her. I mean, it's not just the character. It's not just the character. When she said the thing about the Boston accent, I wanted to choke because I said, honey, you don't sound like you're from anywhere remotely near Boston.
Well, they made a comment in the PR before that. They said specifically they weren't doing a Boston accent.
Right.
So I don't know why they included that specific reference to the fact that she was in Boston.
To emphasize that it's in Boston, even though we know that that's where Claire and Frank went. But yeah, to emphasize Boston again.
Yeah, because I mean, she sounded more like like TSAT said, she sounds like she's from the Midwest.
Yeah.
More like she's from the Midwest than any other place with a definable accent. Because those of us who live in the Midwest or grew up here, we don't have an accent that you can specifically place.
Yes, you do.
You do. Yeah. But you
say Californian, you do for sure.
You do. Coming from New England, you do.
Exactly.
Well, could you place me if you didn't know where I was from? Could you just say I was from the Midwest?
That kind of accent.
Yeah, probably.
I wouldn't know like specifically where, but I would.
If I don't have Texas, Texas has got a very different
Texas is
sound.
I wouldn't put you in Oklahoma necessarily either, but
because I'm not from Oklahoma originally either.
Yeah, so.
But yeah, Kansas is I think it's just kind of a flat.
Yeah.
In Kansas, kind of Kansas, Nebraska.
Further north, you get more of you get that Minnesota.
The Scandinavian, Swedish influence.
So, and in Chicago, you're kind of Chicago. You're kind of that same. You're getting into that.
My cousins in Detroit stretch their A's, so they'll say pop for soda pop.
Yeah.
Pop, app. So yeah, they stretch their A's in Detroit. At least my cousins do. But then also we, they've got Scottish grandparents. I don't know if that really influenced them or not, but
Yeah. Well, see, my background's almost all German, but we've been over here. I mean, I have family who settled Kansas, who who homesteaded in Kansas.
Yeah.
So that's back in.
I'm one of the damn immigrants, and I'm only the second generation born over here on both sides. So I'm one of them damn immigrants.
Yeah, well, I know we went back, and I know I've got, on my mom's side, there are grandparents or grandfathers who fought in the Civil War. We have the documentation. So I know that they were over here long enough to have been fighting. So, but anyway.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
no,
but then again, I did not expect a lot from Brianna because I didn't like her in the book.
No,
Yeah.
and
I'm just kind of like, if I don't hate her, then she's a success.
right.
And
There's
I didn't
nothing
really
to the
hate her. I mean, it's kind of like, eh.
Yeah, there's nothing to the character at this point. There's absolutely nothing to her in the book.
Right. I think she's legitimate to be so bratty though. I mean,
Whoops.
just finding out that the guy is not your father, who you thought was your father, and your mother's telling you, your father's from 200 years ago. I mean, come on.
Right. Yeah. For the information she had to absorb and process,
Right.
her reactions were probably pretty good.
Yeah, except I'm not sure I like the fact that the writers wrote that she and Claire did not have a good relationship.
No, I didn't like that at all.
oh, because
Yeah, they didn't need to do that. That wasn't necessary.
Because, I mean, she was a daddy's girl.
Right.
Yep. Which is fine.
But
We're babysitters, and she wasn't from a traditional home, that's for sure. But
not from the 1950s and 60s, no.
she was not with a stay-at-home mom. It didn't happen. And I mean, we're going to learn all that, but still, yeah, she's also an only child. And it's funny when you have only children, because my niece is an only child and very close to her mother. And then her older daughter, my niece's older daughter that she had for, her youngest one's like only about 10. The older one's 16 or 18. So, yeah, her and her older daughter are very tight. So I would say that, yeah, that's kind of an odd.
Well, I'm an only child.
And were you close to your mom?
I got close to my mom when I got older. When I was younger, I was 100% daddy's girl.
Ah, okay, there you go.
100% daddy's girl. Even as I got older, my mom and I got closer, and my mom and I did a lot together. We were good buddies, but my dad and I had our time. My mom didn't even come for our time. My dad and I went and walked together. We went to the gym together. We'd go out and have Sunday breakfast together because my mom always slept in. So, I mean, my dad and I had a really, really tight relationship.
Okay.
My dad was the one who realized that I was pregnant when I was 15. My mom had no clue. My dad realized it. My mom
So,
always was kind of like, she had no clue of a lot of things. She had no clue I was bullied when I was younger. Nothing. She just kind of like, oh, I always joke about her being on her own planet.
so you're kind of in Brianna's position in some ways.
Yeah.
And then imagine being told that that's not your real dad. That's not your biological dad.
Yeah. That could have happened.
I'd probably go ballistic.
Yeah, well, my point was that I just didn't like the fact that they changed that relationship dynamic from the book.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah.
So, because because she made such a point of trying not to dwell in the past.
Yeah.
And not chasing, and she even says in the show that she didn't chase ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So the fact that Brianna kept saying she lives in her own world, unless she means strictly the fact that she's a working mother in the 60s,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and a very, and somebody who's in a very demanding, high-stress job that takes a lot of her time.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That was just one of the changes. I was kind of like, I don't know. I like the fact that they really had a decent relationship in the book.
Yeah.
Or they seemed to have a decent relationship
Right.
in the book. So, and anyway, like I said, I didn't like Brianna in the book for at least a book and a half. I don't think until Drums. I don't really think I didn't like her in.
There wasn't much of her in the next book either. Yeah, there's not a lot of her. There's not a lot of personality building in Voyager either. So.
Oh, there definitely isn't.
No.
Voyager, and I can't remember too much of her in Drums either, like Angie's saying. I can't remember.
Well,
It was never one of my favorite characters, and I kind of like, oh, it's Brianna Skiff a little bit.
Yeah,
isn't it Drums where she becomes more of a main character and she interacts with our main couple?
right. And then and her and Roger get closer, and so it's gonna be.
So yeah, it wasn't until book 4 that I actually started liking her, and it wasn't until she was. I hate to spoil it because if Stephanie's still watching, she's not read the books.
Yeah.
Tell her to plug her ears.
So.
but also, what was it? I had something in my head and I forgot it. I'll remember it.
Never mind. When that happens, you're in the middle of talking about it, all of a sudden it's poof, it's gone, and you're like, oh my.
Gone.
That's a normal occurrence.
Yeah.
At least 10 times a day.
So anyway, I love Roger.
I do too. I didn't think I was gonna like him as Roger, but I do like him as Roger. Even with the beard and everything else, I do like him as Roger.
Yeah. I like Richard Rankin as Roger. I like the way they've written the character. I liked a lot of the changes they made. I really did. A lot of the changes they made for the 1968 part.
Mm-hmm.
As far as, I don't know, we didn't have to see all of that running around research stuff.
Yes.
And although somebody did mention that they missed the relationship that Roger had with Claire in the book, because Roger and Claire got pretty close in the book.
They did.
But then that was because of the Gillian Edgards stuff, and I would have stuck an ice pick in my eye if I'd had to sit through all of that.
Yeah.
All the running around for that, and visiting Greg, and going to the Institute, and then breaking back into the Institute, and Brianna and Roger going to see Greg again, and it being like, oh my God. So the one visit to Greg was fine. Leaving out the Institute was fantastic. Having Claire be the one focusing on Gillian, absolutely okay with me as far as the search. And having Gillian actually meet Roger and Brianna, I was okay with.
Yeah, that was a nice streamline there. It really was.
But because of the fact that the last 3 chapters of the book bored the hell out of me.
Yeah.
You know, I was just frustrated and knew there were more books, and I wanted to get to the end to figure out how the story was going to continue.
Yeah.
I'm a little confused here. I'm not talking about that. I'm thinking ahead. The tombstone. Shouldn't that have happened we saw the clan Fraser stuff.
Yeah, if they were going to do it, it would have happened here.
Yeah, I think that they probably are just not.
They got rid of it because they didn't go visit St. Kilda together.
Yeah.
Because that tombstone and Blackjack's were both at St. Kilda, and they didn't do that.
Yeah, and that kind of makes me sad that they didn't, because at that point, that's because Frank put that tombstone there, right?
Right.
Yeah, and I think maybe they are showing us, because Frank was the one that had the research done that Roger told her about at the end about the officers, the Jacobite officers that were killed, who holed up in the church for 2 days and then they were shot.
That's out of a book. That's out of Linklater's book. That
was not. Roger was doing that research in the book.
Right. Roger did the research, and here they've made it in the letter.
Frank had the Reverend do that research.
Right.
This is maybe the way that they're going to bring that in, that Frank was actually the one
who knew more,
doing the research and knew more.
Right.
Or was doing exactly what he told Claire not to do.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Not to spend all her time looking for,
I like that he was interesting that he called off further research on Blackjack. I thought that was good, because he must have believed Claire then at some point.
I mean, to me, I took that as a sign that he did believe her, or he found things that she had said that made him believe her.
Right. So I thought that was good.
I keep wondering, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they found, in the book, did they find her marriage certificate? Her marriage contract?
No. Not that we know of. Not yet. We don't know of anything like that.
I wonder where I got that from. Because I thought there was something that he found, or the Reverend found, that had her name signed on it.
Well, no, I don't.
The Cecine?
No, I don't think so. No, the Cecine, the deed of Cecine, was found by Roger and Brianna.
Right.
Next book.
Yeah.
So they brought all that forward, which is fine. That was good.
Yeah.
The random search for Roger's genealogy was kind of weird, but
Yeah, she did it that fast when she was going to have to do it all through books.
Right.
It's not like she could type it into the computer and pull it up. She was going to have to go through all of the old registries and
records and
the marriages and deaths. And,
I mean, that was so easy in the book. She saw his family tree that the Reverend had already done.
Yeah.
I mean,
they could have.
Why make it more complicated?
I don't know why they didn't keep that little bit in there. That it was already. There was a reason.
Because we never played any scene in the Reverend's study in the end of this thing.
True.
Because Roger was there to clear out the house because it had been quite some time since he had died. He was there to clear out the house, so he was going through all this stuff.
Yeah.
And specifically the fact that his father had just died probably within the last week.
Right.
Wasn't going through stuff yet.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
One thing I didn't like about this was that Claire wasn't there for the sole intention of getting the research to find out what happened to the other men. That didn't even come up in the episode. Like, that's why she was there. She wanted to find out what happened to all his men.
The Lollybrock men.
Yeah. That never even came up.
Yeah, they just were like there for the night. Oh, well, we'll just.
They were going to leave.
We're
wasn't even going to tell Bree that he was her father.
Yeah, that wasn't her intention at all. So.
Yeah, and if they were going to drive back to London, how come they had baggage in their car?
Well, they were going to stop at a pub and spend the night, but that's kind of random because don't you guys have like plane tickets home? How long are you staying in London?
Right.
Weird. Yeah, there was no backstory as to why they were even there. So hopefully they'll sort all that next time.
Well, the backstory was they were in London visiting family.
Relatives. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that somehow they heard about the Reverend's death.
Right. Okay. So maybe they were going to be in the UK for longer than 2 weeks or something. So.
Yeah. Well, and maybe we'll find out that they came over that this was a thing that they were doing together to try and get closer after Frank's death.
Well, what time of year is she's in school? That's another thing. Here we go with timelines. They'll drive you crazy. If she's in college, if she's at university, what time of year are we at? Because there's snow on the mountain. So it ain't summer.
You're right.
What is going on? Is she taking a break from school? I mean, I don't know. Hopefully they'll.
About that.
I'll make myself crazy if I worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and if I don't know, they're not evidently going to stick to the high holidays as far as making the stones work because it would have had to have been either
October or
the spring,
Beltane or either the fall dates or the spring dates.
Yeah, or dead winter or middle of summer. It could have been at Christmas theoretically.
It'd have been much, much colder, wouldn't it?
Well, I would think there would be a lot more. It would appear a lot more colder. You wouldn't be picnicking.
You wouldn't be sitting out on the
on the lake,
on the river or the lake or whatever in just a sweater and pants.
Right.
You'd have been in layers.
Drinking cold, having cold sandwiches. No, I don't think so. I don't know. Oh well. Again.
So, yeah. Well, this show has played so fast and loose with timeline that I don't even try and figure it out anymore because it just makes me mad.
Yeah.
It makes my brain hurt.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know if it was any more clear in the book sometimes too.
Oh, it probably wasn't. Yeah. Yeah, that's true because when were they? Where would they? Yeah, they would have been there in the spring, I think, in the book. Maybe or the fall. I don't know. That's a good question.
She went through on. Is it Beltane? Is that what's like May 1st or?
Yeah, that's the spring.
That's when Jillian went through.
Okay, so Easter break, but still, maybe they were there for the holiday. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Corey. It really doesn't make any more sense in the book.
Yeah.
Oh well, it's time travel.
Somebody said something about they were confused about. They didn't think Bree was a history major. She was a history major to begin with. She didn't change to engineering until
after Claire left.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wonder why they made her change? Wasn't she supposed to be an MIT?
No, she was a history major when she started, and when the book started.
Well, wasn't at MIT school? The school MIT?
Yeah,
I know, but would you have gone to MIT for history?
No, not for history.
I don't know. Oh, you mean like she changed schools?
No, she changed. I don't know that she changed schools, but she went from being a history major to majoring in engineering.
Right,
Yeah.
but in the book she's from MIT because that's kind of commented on it at a scene in the next book. So that she knows her, I don't know, what would you call the guy, her godfather? I don't know what he is to her, but his son and her are at the same
Yeah.
school.
We're
So,
at MIT together. Abernathy, Joe Abernathy.
yeah, so his son's at the same school with Brianna, as far as I know. Because
Well,
they joke about
we'll
having a room full of
see
engineers.
how much of that story we get, because I can see them cutting a lot of that.
I'd be okay if they cut all that.
Yeah.
Joe?
I mean,
Really?
cutting Joe, you know,
Well, Joe has to be there because he helps her, but the son and the
does he have to be there?
Yeah.
well, doesn't he help her later at some point though?
I don't think he does anything that if he was gone that it would prevent her from doing what she's going to do.
True. I mean,
It's an anchor point, though, honestly.
Bree goes back with him later too, right?
Right. He helps her later. So, yeah, I don't know that they'll cut him. Besides, I already have him in my...
The guy, one of the pirate guys too. Doesn't she figure out that that's?
Yeah, but see, that gets so freaking complicated.
Yeah, well, they can skip that.
But yeah, I could see them cutting. I could see them cutting that character and focusing strictly on Claire and Frank and their relationship with Brianna, and not cluttering it up with a whole lot of other characters.
I think she's going to need Joe for multiple reasons.
The other instructors or whatever the hell they were, the from the school or whatever that Frank was at, that were the wife was bitchy to Claire about the baby and things like that.
That little thing, yeah.
Yeah, that.
Well, that makes Frank look bad too, so they probably won't do that.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, well, make him
Makes
throw
Frank.
around on everybody else, right? So.
You know, there's going to be a lot of Frank and Claire sex, so.
Oh, please.
Yeah,
We'll
get more of Tobias, more than you ever wanted to see.
Everybody else with this, but I am done with looking at Tobias's peen. I'm telling you. Please, I don't need to be flopping around anymore.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so Claire and Jamie in 1746.
Yep. 5 minutes.
Well, I mean, I didn't hate the cutting back and forth. I wasn't sure I was going to like the fact that they had abbreviated it so much. I mean, they had made it such a tight timeline and were giving us those timestamps.
It was frantic, though. I mean, it actually did play pretty frantic because you knew they were trying to cram a bunch of stuff in. So maybe that was the point. It was frantic.
Well, they were showing you that there was no time.
No.
Yeah.
You know, by giving you those timestamps and having us know exactly when the battle started. And then I'm not sure exactly how Jamie was supposed to get back and die on the battlefield when the battle only lasted about, 30 minutes?
He couldn't get back in time. It's another timeline issue.
Yeah. Because all the cannon and everything are going off already, and he's still up there. Yeah, he and Claire are laying on the ground, and the next thing you know, it's like, boom. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, they're still having a conversation,
So, I don't know.
You're right. There's no way.
They weren't that close to Craignadoon.
No.
No.
Still a little bit of a ride.
They wouldn't have been that close if he said it was going to take 2 hours. He would be gone 2 hours. So you figure it's got to be at least 30 minutes. You know, if he figured he was going to have a little time alone for her, it would be an hour round trip for him.
Well, in the book, he only wanted an hour.
I know. But then stayed overnight.
And then stayed overnight. Yeah. It's kind of like, Jamie always keeps his word, but, he's a little great on time.
Yeah.
So.
He's good at keeping track of periods, but not good at keeping
not good at tracking the sun in the sky.
Right.
So, yeah, and, okay, so let's go on and talk about Dougal. What did we think of that whole confrontation between Jamie and Dougal?
I thought it was well done. I thought Graham was awesome, and I liked it. I liked that little bit of a change. I liked the fact that she helped him push that knife in. It was kind of like the final.
Really?
There, just like, go ahead, let's get it over with. You know, even though she was horrified, she was doing it. So I liked what happened.
Yeah, well, I was horrified when I found out that the writers wanted to have Claire kill Dougal.
Yeah, that no,
That wasn't good.
that was.
I was just kind of like, what?
Yeah.
No, please stop taking stuff away from Jamie.
I know, right?
Oh my God, I am so sick of Super Claire.
And that's the purpose of that battle, is for Jamie to take over, is to kill his mentor. That is the whole freaking tragedy of that whole scene.
The man who helped raise him, who trained him in sword fighting, who basically brought him into manhood as far as,
Right.
you know.
A big father figure, you know. That
And somebody he never lets go of.
Yep.
You know, these people have read the books. They know he has never let go of Dougal. So.
Yeah, and thank God whoever it was at Stars,
Yeah.
somebody who'd actually read the book and liked it.
Wow.
and said, "Hey,
And said,
no."
no.
I think Diana would have freaked out about that too.
Yeah, she might have had
I mean, she
some.
didn't like it all that they didn't take away that they decided not to poison him. That she was really pissed that they didn't keep that in there.
Didn't clarify that their decision was to not murder the guy, not murder the prince.
I'm sure she was not happy that Claire helped push the sword in either, because her whole point is that Claire's a healer, not a not a
That's
killer.
the whole basis of that character, is that she's a healer. I mean,
Yeah.
so, I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting the choices they take sometimes with a character that, you know, they kind of miss some of the point for having read the books anyway.
That's what kills me, is that they're supposed to be these, major book lovers, and then they do these funky things like this. I don't get it.
Yeah, like, what are they thinking?
Well, it's
Yeah.
like I
The
said.
whole thing about having Colum actually kill himself,
Right.
That's fine.
because in the book he did not.
No, he died. He had a natural death. I know you think Dougal killed him, but I don't believe Dougal
A
killed him.
natural death where he died with his eyes like this. I just shocked the shit out of him, huh?
I also think it's interesting because didn't Colum, now back to the show, didn't Colum give the running of the clan to Jamie? And so why is Rupert standing there going, my chieftain, looking at Dougal, dead Dougal, when I thought, well, wait a minute, didn't Colum say Jamie's in charge of the clan?
Yeah, but they
Didn't
did.
get
That
that.
happened yesterday.
Yeah, I realized that, but I
Yesterday.
also thought that was interesting because I thought that's just what hit me. I thought, well, wait a minute, I thought Colum handed
Well,
over.
and Dougal had always been Rupert's chief.
Right, that's
Rupert
true.
was always going to follow Dougal. I don't care who was going to run the clan.
Yeah, that's true. It
Dougal
would always,
was the
yeah,
war chief.
yeah, he would be the war chief. I understand that. I just thought it just hit me when I saw it. I was like, well, wait a minute, Jamie's in charge now.
Yeah, like I said, that probably hadn't gotten around yet.
Yeah, probably not.
Who was going to tell anyone? Because Colum's dead, and Dougal's probably not going to tell
Yeah,
anyone.
of course,
He's
sure.
not going to tell him. Jamie's
Well,
not
there
out.
were no other Mackenzies there who would have known what
Right.
Colum's decision had been.
It
Exactly.
would have come down to a battle between Colum and Jamie. I mean, between Dougal and Jamie, because Dougal would probably deny anything that was said because he wants to be chieftain. You know, and hell, get down to it, he's Hamish's father.
But
So,
but the clan does respect Jamie. It would have been an interesting conversation to try to sort that out.
It
Too bad
would
they didn't have any time.
Yeah. But anyway, I did like that interaction between the two of them, and the horror on Claire's face, and the shock, and
Sam.
yeah, the sadness and just
Oh.
absolute despair on Jamie's face, realizing he just killed
Yeah.
the last father figure he had.
His eyes were like, "Whoa." It was really good.
That
Yeah,
was good.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he put his head on his shoulder. I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was. I thought that was well done. I did.
Yeah. And it's everything was really well done. There were a couple of Brian Rogers scenes, a couple of Brianna scenes that, it's just kind of like, but for the most part, all of the individual scenes were so good.
Yep.
The way they were written and the acting that we had in it, the direction in so many of them
Right.
were, really wonderful.
Yeah. I also like that they really showed Claire being attached to Fergus, which I never got from the book.
Because it wasn't true in the book. It was.
No, she always treated him as just, well, I mean, she wasn't bad to him, but yeah, he was Jamie's employer or employee basically, and a kid that they're responsible for. But I like that they made it close, that she felt that way about him.
Yeah.
How could you not fall in love with that face, man?
Oh well, that little kid. Yeah.
Oh my God. Just,
Yeah, that kid and taking the deed, sending him with the deed, and
Right.
to me, you know what I thought exactly when Jamie said somebody has to remember? I'm like, oh my God, it's Arthur's page from Camelot.
Oh.
Yeah.
That is absolutely what hit me in my heart and in my head. I'm like, oh my God, it's the page from Camelot who's got to go shout it from the rooftops to remember.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow. Okay.
So.
Huh.
And there was a picture. Was that? I don't know who put it in the timeline. I don't think I did. There was the picture of Sam and Roman together, and I'm looking at the picture of the two of them going. Now he actually looks like he could be Jamie's child, or the other one that's playing his child does. The eyes and the jaw and everything else. And did they put a fake ear on her when she was laying on her side and Claire was looking at the back of her head to make her ear look like Jamie's ear? That didn't look like an ear.
Yeah, because I didn't catch that at all. I mean, I know what they were trying to do, but it's like I don't see any resemblance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hair color.
Yeah. Hair color.
It still pisses me off that they had a blue-eyed 6-year-old Brianna, and now we have a brown-eyed 20-year-old Brianna.
You're gonna probably hate.
They probably hadn't cast anyone yet at that point.
Pisses me off.
But you're gonna probably hate next season when they work their way through the years and you see different ages of Brianna and they're all blue-eyed. You're gonna go, wait a minute.
Just like
You guys are mocking us now.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
As someone who wore colored contacts when they first came out, the big, huge freaking things,
Yeah.
get over yourselves and put colored contacts in your eyes.
Hey, if they can make somebody's eyes red, if they can make somebody's eyeballs white, they could have put color contacts on.
Oh, I don't know why they didn't even try unless it was her saying, I just can't do it, I can't do it. Get over yourself.
Then you know what? CGI the fuckers, man.
Well, that's going to get expensive.
I think it was Meryl that said, it was somebody back when they first announced the casting for her, and Meryl made a point somewhere, and I remember reading it, that said, we had to find somebody who's going to have to sit around for almost 2 seasons and still be available. And it's hard to find people in this business that are willing to commit to that. And so that was another thing. It wasn't just could she do it, did she look like them, but she had to be willing to sit there because she gets minimum this year.
Nobody else wanted to cast her in anything.
Well, oh, come on. I've not seen her in anything else.
Right.
So I don't know. I can't say that she's a bad actress, but they really did have a whole bunch of issues with the character that they had to deal with.
Well, I don't care about that. I'm just saying,
blue contact.
Put the damn contacts in your eyes.
Yeah.
And at least be consistent for this freaking season for the two ages of the character.
Yeah.
That pisses me off. I mean, that's not, I don't think that's little. I mean, because that little redhead had bright blue eyes.
Yeah.
Right.
Wasn't even like you could.
That to the timeline screw-ups, to the Chiron issues they had at the beginning, the absolute wrong date being put on the broadcast, those things piss me off.
Yeah.
Because that's carelessness. That's carelessness with a product that you have put a lot of money in, that Starz is banking on. They are banking on Outlander. I'm sorry, all this hand-wringing about whether or not it's going to be renewed. Screw you guys. Starz is using it as their flagship show. They are not going to cancel their flagship show after the second season. Just calm the fuck down.
Do you think they'll go past 4, though?
Oh, yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
As long as the numbers stay strong.
Yeah.
Because they've got Kat and Sam for 7 years.
Oh, well,
That's
okay.
7 years calendar. That's not seasons.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Yeah.
They're
Film
already
for a year, then show it. Film for another year, then show it. Yeah, that's true.
already third year, I think, right now.
Yeah, but that's still going to get us through.
The 4. It's going to get us through 4 shows, but oh well. I just threw that out there. It's got nothing to do
I
with
think it will keep going if they, like you said, if they have the numbers.
Yeah, if they have the numbers.
The number stays strong, because I can't see them not wanting to do the revolutionary stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how they would. Yeah, they've got to want to do that.
You know, to be able to bring in Washington and Arnold and Lafayette and
Just hire all those guys that are on turn right now. Just seamlessly roll it right into or whoever that is, AMC or whoever's got turn. I got to finish watching that.
yeah. So I would love to see them go ahead and go on into that stuff. So they've already said they're probably not going to be shooting in the U.S. They're probably going to go to Yugoslavia or someplace like that to shoot for North Carolina.
Yep.
Right. True.
Which I've always said they were never going to shoot in the U.S. It's too damn expensive to shoot here.
Right.
Yeah, something about they've got a contract that they've got to do X amount in Scotland or something. I saw that somewhere. Again, don't know how true it is. Don't know.
Well, I haven't heard that. I've seen Ron say over and over again, we've spent a lot of money building this studio and gathering the artisans and all the people we need.
Right.
That it makes absolutely no sense to try and start over again.
Right.
Because we can't take the crew out of Scotland with us. We'd have to hire all new, and then you're talking about union.
Right. That's true.
Get into the U.S. and union and the tax breaks. They're getting huge tax. Well, right now they're getting huge tax breaks.
Right.
Who knows?
Scotland wants to keep them there, but yeah, they said that's going to be their big thing next season is the ocean stuff. The Caribbean stuff's going to be their big off-site adventure.
They're doing that down in Africa, aren't they?
I don't think they've decided yet. They were still scouting locations.
They haven't announced what they're going to do yet, so they don't want. They want to wait long enough that you cannot get a plane ticket there. I'm sure they'll show up and stock the set.
They want to be shooting before anybody even realizes where they're shooting.
Right. You'll get pictures, and somebody will say, "Oh, I was on vacation," and then everybody will be like, "Dang, I can't get a flight."
Except the way that I see Meryl talk about it, they're not doing that until the second half of the season. So the first half of the season, I think we're going to get the first half of the book.
Well, that would make sense then if they go south of the border, because by the time they're ready to go down there, it'll be summertime in the south. Because if they start filming in the fall,
end of August, beginning of September.
Yeah, they'll have nice warm weather if they wait till January or something to go down to South America.
Yeah.
It's some beautiful weather. So.
Anyway, Murtaugh.
South Africa. Murtaugh.
Murtaugh. Everybody needs to have a Murtaugh.
Murtaugh basically saying, it's not Jamie saying he didn't Jamie's saying he didn't want him dying for nothing, and Murtaugh basically coming back and saying, "I'll be dying for you."
Yeah.
He said, "I'll be dying with you," but that's basically saying, "I'll be dying for you," and that's meaningful.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, if they're going to make one big, huge change, I could see them saving him next year.
Oh, yeah. God, I would love that if they saved him.
But I don't see how they can do it logically because of the fact that, as far as I'm concerned, he will never leave Jamie's side.
Correct.
Yeah. Even every time Jamie tries to send him off, he won't go.
Well, I think
maybe he got taken to a different prison, because Jamie's gone to Ardsmuir, and maybe he's somewhere else, and they won't meet until, in the colony somewhere.
So you figure, how long is Jamie before he even goes to prison? Isn't that like 7 years or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, I don't know how he would survive the battle, because didn't they kill?
That's what I was going to say.
Kill everybody on the battlefield. Only the people who ran away from the battlefield.
Right. True.
Killed everyone that was on the field. So yeah, if he was still on the field, he wouldn't have lived.
Right.
Oh.
And like I said, he would never leave Jamie's side. If he would be with Jamie, even if he had not been injured himself. With Jamie injured, he wouldn't leave his side.
Right. So he never would have survived it.
So yeah, I just don't know how. The only way I could have seen that happening is if they had sent him off with Fergus.
Right.
If Jamie had insisted you have to go to make sure Fergus gets there.
Right.
Unless he goes looking for Jamie. When Jamie's up with Claire.
Yeah, except Jamie's going back.
I know, but he could have gone looking. He could go looking for Jamie, and they could bypass each other. You know, I mean, there's a possibility that they could do it that way too.
Yeah.
I don't know. He specifically said, "I'll be here waiting for you when you get back."
Yeah, but things always happen, you know, Ange. That for some reason something could have happened where he could want to go looking for him. You know, it's a battle. Something's going on. There could have been something that happened, and he went to look for him. So there's a way they could do it. I mean, the way they've made other changes and stuff too. I mean, there's a way that they could do it.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, Rupert could survive too.
Yeah.
You know, if they fit him in with the other character that he's replaced, he could theoretically survive too. So.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see what happens, but they're more than likely, I'd say 99% of a chance that they're gonna that Murtaugh's a goner.
Yeah.
Didn't somebody say that they said something about he posted something on Twitter or something? I thought I saw someone in one of the blogs or something say that he posted something on Twitter and he shaved off all his beard and stuff like that.
Cut his hair.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I do know that I can't see how they can do it and keep him and bring us young Ian.
Right.
And have young Ian.
Yeah.
Because young Ian takes the place of he should be able to take the place of Murtaugh.
Right. He does become that.
Because Murtaugh in the book is nothing like Murtaugh in the show.
Right.
Yeah.
Murtaugh in the book is little flashes here, little flashes there, a little squirrely monkey of a man, you know.
Yeah, he's not like.
He shows up when you really need him and then disappears off out into the back, you know, backwoods.
Yeah.
When he doesn't need to be on the page.
Yep.
So I don't see how they can keep this Murtaugh and bring us young Ian and not have trouble getting us focused on young Ian.
Yeah, and they're casting young Ian now, aren't they?
And Meryl said that young Ian is her favorite character in the books.
You know, after Jamie and Claire.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, one of my favorite scenes in this whole thing, of the 1968 scenes, was that scene at Lollybrook.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. That was it. When she looks up and he's in the archway there, I lost it. That's the one place that I really lost it. They didn't have to say anything. They didn't have to do anything. All she had to do was look up, and he was standing there, and I was like, oh, it killed me.
That was really good.
Yeah, well, I mean, they set us up with all of the off-screen voices.
I loved that.
Just hearing the different things that you knew were going through her head, that she was remembering this, and, you know, and then finally hearing that poem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we didn't get it in Outlander. We didn't get the inscription on the ring.
Yep.
But it was supposed, and I don't know, did they do the fact that it was wrapped? It was written on the wrapping of that.
I don't think that it was from Hugh in the show.
Yeah. No, that was only in the book. That's where that came from, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, you know, that's finally giving us that.
That was purely for book readers, because anyone else, you know, you wouldn't know how important that was.
Nope. No.
Yeah.
That was lovely.
That was a good scene.
Yeah, it was.
It was a set they didn't have to dress that day.
Yeah.
I think that building looks like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. That was really good. I am curious. Like I said on the Facebook, I'm curious what they'll do. How they're gonna make Lollybrook livable because they've got to do it. So I'm curious how they'll set that in motion. Because that's a ruin right now. Nobody is just moving right into that place and sweeping out the cobwebs.
Yeah, unless they cut that.
Oh my God! How can they cut that?
That's where Bree lives.
It's not for.
Yeah, but still,
how do they find the desk?
For 2 books.
But I'm just saying that when it comes up, it needs to be a building that you can move into.
You know, I am so confused because I swear to God, in one of the books, I thought they visited that Roger and and Roger visited Lollybrock ruins.
Roger visited it, and it was abandoned. And he didn't go inside because he wasn't sure. I just read it the other day. He doesn't go inside because he's not sure what it's actually in this book, I think. He wasn't sure what the inside looked like, so he wasn't going to go inside because it could have been dangerous. But when we see it again,
the next time we see it, it's a livable place that's for sale.
Well, it's not. They're in it already, and they're getting it inspected. So because something about the geyser in the upstairs bathroom. So that implies that the place had been lived in up to some point. Roger sees it in 1968, but it's empty then. But
what I keep wondering is if Claire going back will somehow influence
something,
the fate of Lollybrock.
Oh, maybe. Now that would work.
I keep thinking that she did that in the book. That in the books that kind of, because when I remember, I read over that so quickly. Maybe that's why I don't remember it that clearly, is because it was in this book, and I only read this book once, and then this time when we reread it.
Right.
But for some reason in my head, I always pictured as Lollybrock as dilapidated and unlivable when Roger visited.
Yes, it is. Well, no one's in it, so he doesn't know what the inside looks like.
Yeah. So, but anyway, that's the way it came across to me in the book. So that when in my headcanon, when they get to it, something that Claire and Jamie have done in the past has changed the Lollybrock's future. Longevity and keeping it. I don't know. That's just the way. That's just me. Maybe I was reading more in it than.
I like
There's
that.
a TV show that you can see on you can find it on YouTube. It's called Homes Under the Hammer. It's a BBC thing. Anyway, it's houses that get auctioned off in the UK. And there are ones that get auctioned off that have been empty for 30, 40 years. These are just houses like, terrace houses, and it's the middle house or something. And you go inside, and the roofs there's holes in the roofs. You can see where water's coming in, but those places are still standing, and people refurbish them. They do it, but they're not all like that. But there's an occasional one that's kind of fun to see. So that's kind of what I always thought Lollybrock was in the book, was just some place that you couldn't move right into, but it wasn't so, the roof was not falling in or anything to where you basically have a stone shell of a house. I wasn't going with that, so that's kind of why when I saw it, I thought, well, that's going to be crazy to repair because the thing's huge. They got to start with a roof. I mean, people do it, but it's a couple years worth of work.
Maybe that'll be just a voiceover. Bree and Roger had the house repaired.
Well, that's why I thought, they'd be smart next season to start it with her buying the dang house.
Yeah.
And at least leaving it so they can work on it while puttering around back and forth, making up decisions.
Yeah, well, like I said, that's for some reason in my head it was the fact that
it wasn't.
Claire, having seen it as a ruin, maybe it can, something she says when they go back that
it doesn't end up in that.
Doesn't fall out of
repair.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows?
We'll see. We're talking about next season, and we haven't even finished.
Talking about seasons, no.
Yeah. Claire at Culloden.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was sad.
Very sad.
That wasn't the real place.
No, that's not Culloden, yeah. There's more trees at Culloden.
Okay.
Now, will there have been 68?
Oh, I'm sure there were, because it's been cleared since, I think. If you look at the history of Culloden, it's been cleared for farming, because, they didn't preserve it from the day after the battle. There was actually a highway that ran through it that they actually went out and moved finally. They did, because they didn't care.
Right.
The British didn't care.
Right.
This highway straight through this battlefield with all these buried bodies and everything. I mean, there were stones, and there was just like what Claire saw, but like a little museum. But it's not what you're going to see today if you go there.
Yeah.
And but when you go out on it, they're in the distance, but it's all trees and the highway and everything. That's the way I remember it.
Aren't there fields of heather on the burial sites too?
Yeah.
I read about that there's fields of heather. where the different clans.
Probably is. Well, you'll be there in the summer. Yeah, you might see that.
Yeah, I'll be there, and I'll be 8 weeks from today.
Claire had a way better day than me because I had rain blowing sideways, and it was scary. In fact, I didn't even walk out there. I thought, I'm no Highlander. I'm out of here. But you'll see in the museum they have a beautiful picture, a big glass window that looks out over it anyway. So you don't even have to go out there if you don't want to.
Oh no, I'm going.
Oh no, yeah, definitely do it. They have a walking tour, but I figured, I'm not going to suffer out there. I'm not Jamie.
Well, and I'm just, that Dragonfly and Amber thing, I'm just kind of like, that has no meaning in the book or in the show as far as that particular piece.
Yeah.
So we were introduced to it in episode 108.
Yeah.
And we have not mentioned it since.
Seen it. Haven't even seen it. Where are the pearls? Where are the pearls?
I saw a tweet that Miro said, you don't know that she doesn't have them. Like,
they're in her pockets. They're in her pockets.
Yeah, they're in her pocket.
Oh.
Yeah.
If they were in her pocket, we would have seen them because she gave the rest to Frank.
Yeah.
Well, and also, she's wearing them when she goes to see Roger the first time. She's wearing the darn thing. So.
Right.
See, we didn't even see them. They could have put them on her, but they didn't.
Right.
And we're going to need them.
Sorry.
Oh, no, they'll probably change that, just like they changed the ring, just like they changed the secrets but not lies line.
Yeah.
Because, who needs all that?
The fucking initial thumb pads. I mean, in the palms. They,
Yeah.
I again, they said, well, there would have been blood all over the place. I don't give a shit. That was a big, they
didn't want to maintain the scar.
They absolutely could have done that and had the actual close-up of the hands done as inserts.
Right.
They would not have had to have done the blood on the day if they were so worried about the frickin' costumes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not that big a thing. They could have maintained these little things. They maintained Jamie's frickin' back.
I know.
Yeah, and all the others, everything else he picks up over the years. They're gonna have to maintain
the back scar, the bullet hole, the slice on the side, all the stuff they maintained. They could have done this for the 1 or 2 times they needed to show it.
They're gonna have to maintain that other scar for.
And think about how much it would fade over 20 years. I mean,
true.
Practically just
it's not like it was bone deep. It was barely in the flesh.
Right.
Right.
So yeah, that ticks me off.
That was a lame excuse. You're right.
I read what someone said on Diana's page. Like one idea was to even just show their faces. Don't even show their hands doing it. Just kind of say, this kind of.
Or just like they're doing it, the grimacing when they're doing it.
Yeah, they could have easily done it.
Yeah.
They just didn't want to.
Well, yeah, it's because when I read that when Diana posted it, I didn't even realize I'd forgotten that Jamie put it right back in his mouth.
Yeah.
And sucked until it wasn't bleeding anymore.
Right.
Yep.
So they would never have had to done blood on hers.
Right.
It was just a poor excuse for not putting it in there, and it pisses me off because to me that was a moment that was very important, because they carried that scar with them.
Yeah, much more important than that chunk of amber.
Yes, much more important than that.
Well, especially since the chunk of amber obviously doesn't stay with Jamie, so it's not like he's going to have it in jail and be, ruminating over it because they found it on the battlefield.
Yeah.
So at least with the scars, they have them on their person. It's something they can longingly staring at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That pissed me
off. I guess if it's a choice between getting the scars and getting Jamie's final speech.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's true.
I might have to lean towards that.
I would.
That, those words.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, solid choice.
Was it you that said we could have done, 2 minutes less at Gillis and we could have still had
I said 2 minutes less in 1968 would have been fine.
Yeah.
Bonnie Prince Charlie.
What is that from? I am Charlie. Oh, God.
Like, I am Bonnie Prince Charlie. You are Bonnie Prince Charlie.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was
we could have
weird.
we could have done without 10 or 15 seconds of Claire staring at the sunlight coming up with her face. Yep. I was like, oh my God, just put like little stars in her eyes like Davy Jones had, you know. I was just like, that was so
Oh, that was the
cheesy.
worst. Yeah.
So cheesy. I mean, I can
Yep.
see the sun come up in between the stones, but having that, I was expecting the chorus of angels to break out, you know, or Virgin Mary to come out with her hands out, you know, something. I was like,
I was almost expecting the Enterprise to come shooting out of that starburst.
yeah, that would have been great.
Did you see
Would have
that?
been happy.
Did you see in that article they said that that wasn't effects, that the sun actually came up like that, that they shot all night long, and they didn't have the sunrise like that?
They said that apparently that's how those stones are positioned, because that other scene from the first season they said was very similar, where she got some kind of light or something there.
Yeah.
Those stones are styrofoam. They carry
I know, but I'm saying the where they're at on the hill. No, I know that they're fake, but wherever they're chosen, they apparently must have chose it to do it that way, you know, position them that way. I know they're styrofoam. I will not be searching the Scotland countryside looking for.
Where are the damn stones?
I found some stone circles in Scotland, yeah.
Yeah, there's stone circles, but that's not that one.
No.
So, yeah.
That's funny.
I just like, yeah, they could have done away with some of that to show the. Yeah, they could have. I would have rather have had a few more seconds of them together before she went through the stone than that afterwards. You know, and you know, a lot of people I've been reading too, where people are saying, "Wow, she looks really selfish about that," when she's saying, "I've got to go back," you know, or I can you know,
I can go back.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it's like,
that
okay,
was.
you don't think anything about leaving your daughter behind.
Yeah, I think that was a great shot of her daughter's face going, "What?"
Yeah.
Because that kind of was what I thought when I saw that they cut to Brianna's face and she's looking at her like, "You're leaving?"
Yeah, well, and I mean, I read Diana's posting, and I much preferred with it being Brianna saying you have to go back.
Yes.
Right, at least
That would
Brianna
make
said.
sense. Because that would have made sense there, because that's her finally accepting.
And
Yes.
I think she actually does say it in Voyager, doesn't she?
Yes, she
Yeah.
does.
She does.
At some point, because the whole time, that's what I mean. That's where they screwed up, because even in Voyager, the whole time they're working their way through that, Claire never once voices that she's going to go back, or she even wants to really consciously think about going back until they get to that point. So that's what they screwed up.
Yeah.
They messed it up. They messed it up, and they need to own it.
It's not till they say that she goes traversing looking for a dress, you know, and that
right
time.
after that they get to that point. Yeah, that's when she actually makes the whole. She starts accepting it and tying up loose ends and stuff. So yeah,
Gets things
I
signed
think they
over
messed
to
up bad.
you know, the house and everything, and then gets her dress and
Right.
makes her peace with everybody and decides to go.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, well, my problem is that they played down to the lowest denominator of the audience.
Right.
You know, they felt like they had to hit the entire audience over the head.
Yeah.
With, oh, look, they can be together. Don't worry, they're going to be together again. That's what it felt like.
That's why we have 4 seasons already, okay? Why would they have 2 if they weren't going to kill off Jamie and hire somebody else?
It'll be the Claire Frank show from now on.
That's the point too, where it's so dumbing down. It's like, okay, that there would be wrapped up for me. I'd go, well, I don't need to go explore the book anymore because I got the whole thing right here.
Right.
But if they leave something to you, it's like, oh, geez, while we've got this next 10 months off, I'm going to go ahead and buy the book and read it. You know.
Well, they're not concerned about getting Diana more book readers.
No.
Oh, I know they're not, but
well, what's going to happen is they're going to have even more book readers whining at them next year.
Exactly.
They're going to say, the books are better. What's going on? here? What's the matter with you people? You know?
Well, the thing is, Voyager, I can actually see in my head.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that as long as they don't continue to insist that this is Claire's story and everything has to be told from Claire's point of view,
Right.
Yeah.
they can do Voyager very well and have it be compelling television. Each one of those stories can be a compelling hour of television.
Yep.
So they don't have to do a whole lot of fucking around with it.
No.
Right.
I mean, there are some changes I'm okay with. I'm okay with changing the whole carriage ride from,
Yeah.
Inverness to Edinburgh, and they could cut out the Fiend and I'd be happy, and
Yeah.
They can cut out Willoughby and just have Claire learn
Oh God, yes, please cut
acupuncture
out.
some other way.
Well, are you guys anti-Willoughby people?
Oh my God.
I don't really care.
Oh.
I just thought it was annoying.
Well, he's annoying, but I don't know. I don't want him to cut him. I don't want them to cut him. I'm
They
bad.
need to-
Shame
I
on
guess
me.
I'm just anticipating all the,
Oh yeah, people saying it's
Yeah.
racist.
right.
Oh, racist.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Chinese, yeah. Let's
Yeah.
do this.
Well, but it is like you saw my post on wherever it was, Corey. It is what it is.
Right. That's true.
And I mean, I just really resent people that want it to all be PC and 2016 version of everything. The Jacosta's house and all that. I mean, come on, get over yourself. It is what it is. Wasn't right. Wasn't good.
Yep.
Moved on. But it is what it is.
They don't need to have as much of him in there. I mean, maybe they could meet him on the ship or something. I mean, I know he serves a purpose, but
Yeah.
then
At some point, they just have to figure out how to get rid of him at some point. So.
yeah. Although, like we have said before, and I agree. Angie said it before, and I agree. It would be fun to see Jamie walking around with all those little acupuncture needles sticking out of him like porcupine.
Yeah.
Well, and Jamie speaking Chinese.
Yeah.
Right.
The fact that he basically learned Chinese from this guy.
Yeah. So now we're into the next book.
Yeah. It happens. It happens.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I hope that they don't screw it up too bad. Honestly, to wrap it up with this series, I don't think they screwed it up. I mean, there are things, but I think that they're doing a good job.
Mm-hmm.
There are specific things that they're getting wrong or they're kind of overlooking or missing, but I still trust them to get the story and get their basics good, do it right.
Yeah, well, this book was hugely complicated.
Oh yeah.
It really was.
Right.
Was a hugely complicated, complex story that they were having to try and tell, and they were right when they kept talking about the fact that everything in Paris happened off stage.
Right.
And Claire was being told about it.
Right.
So it made it harder. They had to figure out how to open that up and have Claire involved in stuff so that she could be on stage, and be the star of the show like they want her to be.
Right.
Sorry, Facebook people, if you're still watching.
Right.
Keep knocking my phone down.
Okay, here's another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if they'll give Jamie and Claire equal billing as far as the show goes, they should be able to do Voyager and keep it interesting and not have to lose a ton of stuff. Because if they lost the Fiend,
Right.
they could lose the Fiend's sister,
Mm-hmm.
and they could lose that whole
Yeah. Yeah.
that whole storyline about the slaves and owning the slave, and
Yeah.
there's just a lot of stuff that they could get rid of and streamline and still keep it super,
Right.
super interesting and exciting.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially once they get to the big seas voyage stuff. I mean, there's a bunch of that stuff that I can see.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very visual.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be
So
interesting to see what the new writers are like. I hope they're making them read all 3 books and not just book 3.
I am so concerned about the fact that there are now 8 writers instead of 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because this last season felt disjointed, and
Yep.
the episodes didn't feel all that connected sometimes, and that was
doesn't
with
feel
writers who had written in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
it didn't feel like they were in the writing room and actually, figuring out what's going to happen from one episode to another sometimes. So, I mean, it's just,
Well, it
and
did
if you
because the
gave
characters
up,
weren't consistent from episode to episode.
no,
Yep.
So that was the problem with that.
yeah,
So yeah, I'm concerned. Although I heard their credentials of, I think,
Yeah.
almost everybody, and they all have some really good credentials as far as former writing credentials.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think they've all written for TV before. They've all written for some very good shows.
Yep.
Have they specifically said that none of them are book readers, or we just don't know? Or
Somebody said
No,
that.
I think it's
None of them had read the book, but they are all reading it.
oh,
They
okay.
said they're reading it, so that's why I was saying,
Diana? Was it
did they
Diana?
read book 1 and 2 or just 3?
Yeah. And 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have to know, where you
Very
come from and where you're going to.
Yeah, you definitely need to know where you're going. And this is where I'm going to say something not so nice about Katrina, because I'm really surprised that she hasn't read the books.
I know.
Somewhere it said that she only reads the next book. She's only going to read the next book. And I thought, that's really weird when you. I mean, maybe this is how she works, and I can't say I'm not an actress, but I would think I wanted to know what my character's basic trajectory is if it's there. If the information's there, why wouldn't you research it? I just think it's interesting.
Yeah.
So I found that interesting where that, of course, Sam's read them all, and then I guess they said Richard Rankin's read them all too. He said he read the book, so I'm assuming he's read them all.
Or at least the first 4, probably.
Yeah, at least, but who knows? He might have read them as a reader and not as a.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, they are about Scotland mostly, or were, so. Anyway, so yeah, I was really surprised to see that. I guess I can't really say I'm sad with Katrina, but I thought that she would, since she is the main character.
You know what's really interesting, though, is that
Oh,
the 3 of the 4 new writers are women.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that'll help.
They've
Well,
only hired 1 male writer, and they've gotten rid of a male writer.
Yeah, so they
So we have 2 male writers plus Ron,
and the rest are women.
and the rest are women.
That's
Do you
good.
remember the snippet I posted of Diana complaining about how they weren't doing the Mark Me and that they were just and that the writer told her they were so excited that they were going to use the Dragonfly and Amber instead.
Yeah.
Diana just thought that was so lame. Someone replied to her saying, these men don't get it, and she wrote back, it wasn't a male writer
Yeah.
that wanted to do that. So
So that means it was Tony.
Yeah.
or Ian, or well, probably Tony, yeah, since it was
Tony wrote the last episode with Matt Roberts.
Yep.
Right.
So
So it wasn't Matt then, huh? Huh.
So,
That'd be interesting.
well, yeah, I can't see Matt thinking that was a big thing because it wasn't that big a thing in any of the books.
Yeah.
But I could see Tony latching onto that, thinking it was kind of a cool thing.
Huh. Yeah, it might have been something she thought about, yeah.
So, because she
It was
likes,
pretty piece of amber. That was an ugly ass piece of amber.
yes, it was. It looked like a block of soap.
Yeah, it was too big. I always think of it something little, a little tiny. Yeah, something you could easily keep in your pocket or your,
Yeah, you have to figure if it's a dragonfly, the wingspan of a dragonfly. So it would have to be, not a big, huge blob like that, but it'd have to be at least.
Well, how the hell did they get that big a block of amber and have it be that smooth all around?
Yeah.
Literally, it looked like a bar of soap to me. A big freaking bar of soap. You know, the Neutrogena soap?
Right, that's
That's really what it was.
That's what it looked like to me, was a bar of Neutrogena.
with a
Well,
plastic.
they have
little-
bars of soap like that too that have the toys in them for the kids, and then when they wash down, they get the ring or they get something, the bug or something out of the soap.
Yeah.
So yeah.
They went out and they bought some kids soap for that.
Yeah, that was my one huge complaint about a change from the book in the end of this.
Yeah.
You know, I just not having marking each other and giving us that hunk of junk.
Yeah.
That of course Jamie dropped it on the battlefield. It was so freaking big he didn't have any place to put it.
Yeah.
Weighed his sporing down so much he's going to pull his freaking kilt off.
Exactly.
It's better it fell out when he pulled his kilt off when they went running naked like the
Like you're
Highlanders.
supposed to do, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Or in his
anyway,
shirt. Yeah.
overall I actually did pretty much love the finale with a few exceptions. I mean, I had moments that I did not love.
Yep.
And the whole season, it had its ups and downs. There were a couple episodes that I really was like, ugh.
Yeah.
But for the
to rewatch them.
yeah, I'm very interested in being able to take maybe the week before school starts
Just watch them all.
and go back and watch.
Know that the whole picture.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Just-
go from season 1 all the way through.
I would love to do that. Yeah.
Yep. I'm gonna have to do that one weekend. So, and just watch everything. I'll have to have a weekend to myself and just do nothing.
I was watching. I think it was episode 2 the other day. I don't know why I had the app open on my laptop while I was doing some work, and that honeypot scene was actually pretty sexy until BJR showed up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one, and then just shut it off right when he comes in. That was actually a really good scene.
So yeah, once you get away from your disappointments from
Right.
what you were expecting,
Right.
then that's why I said I was surprised. This particular episode I did not have to watch twice to get away from being distracted
Mm-hmm.
by what I was expecting and the changes. So that's one reason I think I liked it so much. For some reason, I was not distracted by what I was expecting from the book.
Mm-hmm.
So every other episode, I had to watch twice to really get a full appreciation for the episode. Because I was always distracted by, well, like, oh, well, that's different. Oh, they skipped that. And they're not going to do that? Damn.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. The only episode that I was Faith. I think that was my favorite episode of the whole season.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
good.
yeah. That was a beautiful episode.
Well, except then his beard showed up.
Oh,
What?
that's
And I couldn't
know
stop
what?
staring at the beard in the last, 10, 15 minutes. I was just kind of like,
Yeah, the beard, and then they cut like all this wonderful dialogue that he was supposed to have.
yeah, but it was the beard. I don't think I would have heard the dialogue.
I know.
he did say
It would have been coming out of that mouth surrounded by that beard, and I would have been staring at the beard going, holy shit.
The beard was the only bad thing in the episode. I'm going by acting and everything else. I'm not gonna look at the beard. I'm just
Yeah. You can do a fan edit out all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I'd love it if, I don't know that I work all weekends now, so. Because I'd love to find a weekend where we could all just kind of plan it and do it and be on the thread on the Facebook.
Yeah. Watching.
Oh, look at the freaking bugs flying in the house. Jeez.
All right, I need to go because it's really past my bedtime.
Yeah, it's way late for you, hon. So.
I know.
Well, thanks for sticking with us. Thanks for
All right.
sticking with us all season.
Yeah. Can't wait for the next installment.
So yeah, like I said, if we get a chance to kind of find I could possibly take a weekend off before school starts.
Just
If we
don't do it while I'm overseas, please.
No, before school starts. Where I'm talking August,
Okay.
because my first day of school is 24th of August.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
next-
I don't know what everybody else's August is like, but
Yeah, this coming weekend, well, this is July, so August, I could probably find a weekend in August.
we'll look at it and see if I can. I'll see if I still have a chance to rework my schedule and be able to get off like an have off leaves like Saturday and Sunday.
Sure. Sounds good.
Okay. All right. Talk to you.
All right, guys. We'll
All
see
right,
you later.
Lori. Good night, hon.
Bye.
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 So, well, I'll go ahead and end the broadcast, guys. Thanks for sticking with us. Those of you who have watched us. If there's anybody out there watching us, I mean, I know there's some people on the Google page who are following the little whatever the hell I have put together.
Oh,
The
okay.
Google videos, or for the YouTube videos on the Google page.
Oh, okay. Oh.
So we'll see. Maybe I'm hoping next season to be even more and maybe a little more organized and try and get the comment tracker to work and the YouTube. The chat on YouTube does not work for me through the Google Plus app, the Google Hangout app. I don't know if it has to do with my Mac or what it is. I would have to be originating the broadcast on YouTube, and then I lose the ability to have y'all in the film strip. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have a while, although they keep saying that it's going to be earlier than we're expecting.
Yeah, they're saying spring.
And earlier than we're expecting, I mean like earlier than April.
Oh, whoa, wait a minute.
Oh.
Which I find very hard to believe since it took them...
Well, they're all back there. Aren't they all in the UK right now? Well, I know Sam and Katrina are, right? They're in the UK.
They're supposed to start filming the end of next month, the beginning of September.
I just wonder if they moved it up as much as they could, maybe. Because they're already there. Doesn't he live here? I thought he lived here. I don't know.
Both Sam and Katrina were living in L.A.
Yeah, I thought they were living here, but they were talking on Saturday. They were over there.
Well, he was there for some awards thingy.
Oh, really? But
yeah.
Oh, okay. So you don't think that maybe they're getting a jump on some filming, even though they're saying August?
I'm not sure that they.
No.
They only, I think, have the first script locked, don't they?
I thought they had I thought they had 5 or 6 of them done anyway.
I don't know. They haven't done. I think they have the. I know that I saw Terry post that Ron had written a new draft of the first episode.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like just 2 or 3 weeks ago, he'd written a new draft. She'd woken up to a new draft of 301.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. So they're still messing with them. Okay.
Yeah, well, from what I heard, they had 10 written, but they have 10 written, which means the basics are all down, and they're going to go
they
back.
basically got them outlined and started them. Okay.
And I just read something today where Diana wrote a section of 301 too, or went through and edited or did something to a section of 301, a scene. So
I didn't see that.
Yeah, that was in one of the articles that was up there today.
I didn't see that either.
Really? Because I thought I read everything that was posted today.
Because I said, I'm thinking to myself, going, wait a minute, didn't she say she wasn't writing anything else? But apparently it's just a little segment that's in something that she went through and took care of.
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't catch
I don't think it's so much the writing that she's trying to doesn't think she'll have time for. I think it's everything that goes with it, the prep for it, the being on set, the producing thing that goes on. I think that's probably she doesn't have that much time. I would prefer her to write book 9 as opposed to an episode of season 3.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Quit bugging her. Let her work on her book.
Right. Source material. We need the source material finished.
Yeah. You don't want to end up like George R. Martin here.
Yeah.
Now they're saying, like with Game of Thrones next year, the Game of Thrones fans going ballistic because they said that they think it'll only be 6 or 7 episodes next season.
That's what they announced.
Yep, and then it's going to start later too. It's not going to be in June because they need winter for when they shoot. So
they're going to stretch it out till later next year, huh?
Yep, they're going to.
So the Game of Thrones fans will know what we go through.
Yep, they're only going to be 7 episodes. Oh my God, it's going to be like Sherlock. If I can wait for freaking Sherlock, I can.
Sherlock, that's right. Absolutely, or Poldark. Poldark should have been out by now, and it's not even been aired.
Poldark's not coming out until the fall. I think
That's when they're going to show it at the BBC, and then we probably won't see it till it probably take Downton's spot on January or something.
Yep.
Here.
Which pisses me off.
BBC
I was looking forward to having that fill in my summer.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yes.
Yeah,
I
so
do
you.
love me some Aiden Turner. I do love me some Aiden Turner.
Well, I'd go back and watch the first series or the first two series of Being Human.
Oh, the British version or the American?
The
He's
the British version. He's
in the
Mitchell.
first 3 or
Yeah.
4, isn't he? He's in the first 3 or 4 seasons, right?
I don't think it's that many.
Oh,
I
maybe
thought it was the first, at the most, the first 3, because
Yeah, maybe it's the first 3. He's not in the last season, I know that. Because
no.
I had seen all of his seasons before they pulled it off of Prime, because it used to be on
I
Prime.
forgot he was in that, the British version.
Do what?
Uh,
Jerry, your voice is really quiet. That mic must be quite a ways away from.
Oh, yeah, away from me because I'm kind of stretched now because I've been up since 4:45 this morning
Yeah.
and made the trip back and forth to Tampa and just missed by about 15 minutes. I don't know if you saw it on the news or whatever, because it's been pretty much, it's been a couple places on the news. I think it made a national news somewhere. The Skyway, yeah, tanker truck carrying diesel fuel
Oh,
blew a
wow.
tire Skyway and hit the barricade for 800 feet and then blew up.
Oh.
Oh, my God.
And the skyway was closed for 5 hours,
Oh, my God.
and they still have one lane closed on the south section, the inner lane, because they had the DOT out there checking structural damage. Yeah, they're showing the fire on the news now,
Wow.
and it's just like, I mean, just a mess. And I missed it by 15 minutes.
Oh wow.
Gosh, that's
Coming from the airport. It's like,
crazy.
oh, you know.
All right. Well, I'm going to stop the broadcast, and we can still chat, but I want to stop the broadcast so that those people anybody who's watching, if there's anybody watching. So anyway, thanks for joining us. We'll definitely do this next season. We're going to reread Voyager as a book, as a group, and we're going to read The Scottish Prisoner in there somewhere. We'll see if we have time to do a rewatch of seasons 1 and 2 kind of all together and talk about it. We'll figure stuff out, because I love getting together every Monday. Talking about Outlander, talking about stuff as a group. So anyway, we'll see you all. I don't know when. I'll announce it. Watch the Google page. Watch the Facebook page. Well, if you're not on the Facebook page, you can't see it. Watch the Google Plus page. So bye, guys.
Bye.